So I've just seen the first two episodes of Fiona and Cake, and it's really freaking good. I'm just gonna say right now, this is going to be an all-timer of a series. I already know this is gonna be an all-timer, but at the same time I already know this can easily be a really confusing series if handled incorrectly, because we're going to be dimension hopping in this series if it wasn't obvious from the promotional posters and the trailers alone. This is going to be a crazy series because the trailer gave me so many questions already, from why is Betty here when Betty has sacrificed herself for Simon? Why is Jake here when Finn didn't get the tattoo until Jake passed? There were so many questions going around, and this is kind of answering it. We're now starting to see some of the threads come together. Episodes 1 and 2 have released, and I just want to talk about them. Episode 1 focuses on Fiona, and Fiona's character is more or less a young adult, just like you and I. She is very sick and tired of the mundane life that the world has given to her. She dreams of wanting more. She dreams of her life being similar to the OG Adventure Time's version of Fiona and Cake, where her and Cake are going on a lot of adventures. She had a dream where she's saving a lot of the citizens from this mouse car, and then the ice prince saves her and they kind of clasp hands and it's a little cute, and then she wakes up due to her alarm. And when I say her day job is boring, her day job is boring, because she is one of those tour guides, and it's a sad tour guide life because there is no tourists in this city. It's just the same people every single day, and it can get kind of tiring. And it just so happened that this day the boss was hiding undercover as one of the passengers, and she ends up seeing that, you know, Fiona is not good at her job, and she ends up firing her. And that really pissed Fiona off, but that's not the focal point of this episode. The focal point of this episode is Cake. Cake is not feeling well, she's acting weird, she keeps going towards ice for some reason, and nobody knows why. Oh, and by the way, this series is for young adults because Fiona said damn it and goddamn it. She originally had this vet appointment ready for Cake, but after she got fired, she's like, well, I barely have money in general, so what should I do? Marshall Lee suggested, why don't you go to like my guy Ellis P. And this is giving me the opportunity to talk about the world in general, because I originally said in the trailer reaction that I thought this world was weird to the point where I thought it was like a future version of Adventure Time where everybody just kind of looks the same but is very more humanized. No, this is a completely different dimension. These people look like the OG Adventure Time versions of themselves because they want us to know who these characters are, and it really works for us for knowing who all of these characters are, like Gary, who was Prince Bubblegum in the OG Fiona and Cake, Marshall Lee, who was Marshall Lee, of course, and like everybody, even like the Banana Guards kind of all have their characters. I think their characters' names are Joe. They look like Joe's, so probably. But we go to Ellis P, who was Lumpy Space Princess's counterpart if it wasn't obvious. And she's not good at helping. She's most definitely not good at helping. Cake ends up seeing something and running towards it, and when she runs towards it, she sees this ice lady selling ice cream, and it looks very much so like the Ice Queen. And when she jumps into the ice cream parlor thing, she vanishes. It was like a portal of some sorts, and that was the end of the first episode. And at least you're wondering, what portal does she go into? Does she go into the portal that leads her to Finn and Jake's world? What is Finn and Jake's world to the world of Fiona and Cake? It's left so many questions open, at the point where it was almost like, was all of Adventure Time a dream for somebody? But obviously it wasn't. And we know that it wasn't because of episode 2, titled Simon Petrikov, where it focuses on Simon. If you thought Simon's life was sad as the Ice King, his life is even sadder now that he is the normal person in a world filled with wacky characters, and he just feels even more out of place than ever. He's going through this crisis alone, and it's getting worse because everybody he's talking about his old stories of Fiona and Cake, where we know that was the Ice King stories. The Ice King wrote all of those, and everybody keeps saying, yo, you should write more stories like Fiona and Cake. Did you read my story? Can you publish it like you did for Fiona and Cake? And even Finn, who looks so fucking jacked, looks so fucking cool, It's like, yo, I used to bust your balls for those stories back in the day, but I really like them now. Jake's always loved them. I've turned myself around to them as well. And all of that stuff is just something that Simon doesn't want to hear, because he already feels like he's like very much so an other in this world. He doesn't belong here. And the more they talk about the work that Ice King's done, he's like, Ice King fit more in this world than I do. Why am I here? What is the purpose of me being here? But Finn sees he's upset and they try to go on an adventure, and this adventure is not fitted for Simon at all. They go through a lot of trials and tribulations. They ended up in the heart of the forest. Finn is so good at what he does. Any problem that's around, he easily mollywops it. He killed multiple beasts during this adventure, and we even saw blood. Twice. He pierced a monster through his nose and left a giant hole, and it was blood everywhere, and Simon got cut in the arm by a bear and there was blood dripping off his arm. And it's weird seeing blood in my Adventure Time, and I love it. But this did not help Simon. He at least told Finn that it helped so he could get out of this situation, and he started going home. He tried to call Marceline, and Marceline and PB are getting tattoos and failing at them but having a good time, listening to some metal with this tattoo guy, and he's getting pissed, and they're all laughing and stuff, and they're like, yeah, I'll call you later, Simon. We're busy doing stuff, all having fun without you. We'll call you later, bye. And this is also not something Simon needed to hear. So he goes back into his house, which is an exhibit of some sorts for other humans to come visit, I guess, for some reason. And he gets this ritual thing set up where he gets this picture of Betty, puts it to Evil Choose Goose, to a statue of Glob or Golb, I forgot his name, I think it's Glob, and he starts doing this chant, and Evil Choose Goose messes it up, but this chant opens up a portal in the back of his head, and Cake shows up. And that was the end of the second episode. Almost the end of the second episode. I forgot that we cut directly at the end to Prismo's place, and he's getting this alert thing on his TV remote. That's the end of the second episode, and it's leaving us a lot of things to say. Like, if this is dimension hopping, did somebody make a wish to Prismo? Did Fiona's wish that she made of the dandelion work, and that's what made the Prismo stuff happen? Or did Simon's ritual thing work, and that's what caused the rift into the dimensions? I'm so curious about what's going on here, and I don't know if that's exactly what I want for my Adventure Time, but everything feels like Adventure Time still. Like, Simon is in the Adventure Time world. We saw Root Beer Guy, which I guess his name is Dirt Beer Guy now. We saw like a lot of characters within here. Even on the Fiona side, we saw all the counterparts for a lot of like familiar faces where you're like, oh, it's that guy, oh, it's that guy, oh, it's Cinnamon Bun, oh, it's Peppermint Butler's lady version. Like, there was a lot of people where you like, you'll jump for nostalgia, but you're also there soaking in this new story, and it's just great to see. Like, even after all of these years, Adventure Time is still big and it's strong and it's keep going. And I think it's 10 or 11 years since Adventure Time's debuted so far. I think it's been even longer. And we saw it grow from being this episodic funny thing about these guys going on different adventures, going through different dungeons and having a good time, to this grand old serious thing where this guy's going through this crisis because he's the only human there, where Jake, this dog, realizes that he's part alien, and he goes on this adventure all to come to some sort of a war conclusion where, you know, everything ends in a dream. And it's just great to see, you know. I really like Adventure Time. Rather you've seen my video from a couple years ago where I say why I love and hate Adventure Time, I really like Adventure Time. It has a lot of ups and downs, but after it ended, it's only had ups so far. Even the ending series, season 10 to Islands and Stakes and Elementals, all of it, it had such an uptake in the last couple of seasons that I just really like Adventure Time now, and I can't wait to see where this story goes. I don't even know how Fiona's going to get to this world. Is he going to try to do the ritual again? Is going to open up a portal for Fiona? Because Fiona can't just go into the ice cream thing now, because I think the portal closed. So what's Fiona going to do? Is she going to be stuck there for another couple of days, trying to figure out what's going on, trying to get her job back or something? I don't know. I really don't. And what's Simon gonna do with Cake there? Is Cake gonna be his new light to know that there's more worlds out there for him to travel around? He's gonna go visit Prismo, because I think we saw him visiting Prismo in the trailer. I think we're gonna see some stuff, and it's gonna be fun, I hope. And with that being said, what are your opinions on Adventure Time Fionna and Cake episode 1 and 2? I'd really like to know. Leave it in the comments down below, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. Okay. Goodbye.